in January there were LA fires, right? Santa Ana winds. You remember that? You remember Pacific Palisades burned down? Have you ever been to Pacific Palisades?
Yes.
One of the most beautiful places in Southern California, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Beautiful. The hills, homes, everything. It's like Newport Beach where we're at right now. So back then, I want to say 2, 3, 4 weeks after the fires, there were rumors. There were rumors that. In Pacific Palisades, they're about to build the affordable houses. And everybody was saying, freaking out, no, there's no way. Is it true that Newsom is about to sign the bill that they can do it legally with affordable housing in Pacific Palisades?
So I heard that the bill got pulled. I heard that the bill got pulled. And it's Senator Ben Allen. It was his bill, and it got pulled. So I think that is off the table for now. However, you've seen the Spencer Pratt, Gavin Newsom feud that's happening right now. So I think that there's more that's going to happen. I think there are different things that they're going to do with the Palisades. It's like Lahaina, huge money grab, a lot of money there. People were not going to give it. It's very prime real estate, very expensive. They didn't want to pay for it, so they burned it down. And we're hoping to force people off the land. But the thing that's different about Palisades than Lahaina, and I'm going to speak very generally about people. I spent a lot of time. I have friends and family in Hawaii, in Lahaina. Friends who are like family in Maui. I spent a lot of time, my childhood, like half of my life, more than half of my life, 3/4 of my life, going to Maui, like at least twice a year, spending weeks and weeks there with family. Friends who are family. And I also know a lot of people, spend a lot of time in the Palisades. The thing that's different with the Palisades and then Lahaina is that there's a lot of money there. I mean, we're talking very mega wealthy people. So for Gavin to come in and his cronies to come in and BlackRock or whoever they're working with I mean, I know BlackRock is bigger than all of those people, but like these people have resources. They're not going to we're talking about Hollywood producers and Silicon Valley. Who is in Palisades. So I was like, this is like not a great place to try and fight this fight, Maybe somewhere that's not as affluent, but still on the coast. I was very surprised. I thought it was about the high-speed rail. There were a lot of rumors going around about that they wanted to have the high-speed rail go through there at one point. I haven't really heard that much about it.
Through Pacific Palisades? Mm-hmm. What for?
To have it go through. It has to go through somewhere.
But not through the most beautiful place in LA.
They don't care. They just care about money and efficiency.
Okay, so let's say I owned a house at Pacific Palisades. Yeah. It got burned down.
Yes.
But I still own the land.
Yes.
How can they make me sell the land?
Because you need to make your mortgage payments, and you now have to rent another house, and then you've heard about the whole like insurance debacle.
Yeah, but if my home costs $20 million, right. I have $200 million in my bank account. I don't care.
Of course. So for those people, but there are a lot of people, like my friends' homes burned down. They obviously do very well for themselves, but continue to pay, most of them don't own the land, or they're still paying down the land. So you have a $4 million mortgage payment or $2 million mortgage payment, and then now you've had to relocate your family, and now you're paying $15,000, $25,000. I mean, there were sick people who jacked up their rent to, because they knew that we're going to have this, kind of trapped, captured pool of tenants that they were going to be desperate for to keep their kids near their schools and stay near work where you've lived your whole life. So now I'm paying a mortgage of whatever it is on a $2, $3, $4 million home, and I'm paying $25,000 in rent, and I'm paying for my kid's child's, the school, and my insurance got canceled. And even if I had insurance, it takes 5 hours to get one answer to a question, but I'm trying to work and I'm trying to rebuild the home and all of these things. Like it's one of those examples where they're not going to say we're taking your homes. We're going to make it impossible or extremely difficult for you to rebuild. And by the way, that was one of the things that Spencer was talking about. He was getting fined for not picking up or clearing out the debris, but then at the same time wasn't allowed to go clean out the debris. And also they weren't letting you in because it's like, oh, there's possible landslides. Oh, it might be, there's toxicity because there's so much chemicals now that got burned and now is in the ground. It's not safe. So they just it's what they do, right? They make it, they're smarter than that. right? They're smarter than that. So they have us over leveraged, overextended, super stressed out, very distracted, worrying about all these things all the time. They're attacking our children all the time. They're raising prices, increasing the gas tax, all the things that they're doing. And then your home burns down. And obviously that's top priority, but all these other things are happening and they make it impossible for you to get ahead.
Okay, let's say I own the house, I own the land, I don't have a mortgage in Pacific Palisades, right?
Okay, sure.
And I can't rebuild the house?
I don't know. It's like
You have to get the license to rebuild.
you own the land.
Yes.
But they always, for your health and safety, until it gets like, what is it called, tagged or something, they have to go in and have to make sure that it's safe for you to go in there and rebuild.
And they don't get insurance?
Who doesn't get insurance?
Whose house burned down?
Some insurance companies canceled policies right before the fires
How can you do that?
because that's what they do.
That's crooked.
There was a really good Bobby. His handle is Take Naps. He's super funny. He did a whole breakdown. They basically, what happened in California is, in your original question, is California the worst? Yes. Mm-hmm. California passed a bill that capped I think it was the premiums. They capped the premiums, or they did a bill that restricted how much insurance companies could charge. Obviously, if you have a piece of property in a fire zone or a place where there could be a hazardous area, you're going to charge, and it's worth $20 million because it's on a cliff on the coast in the Palisades, you're going to charge more. And they're like, no, we want to protect the little guy, but basically capped insurance premiums. So what did insurance companies do, which was within their contracts to do, was they canceled it. It just happened to happen. Do I think that was an accident? Absolutely not. Do I think that these insurance policies came up for renewal and were canceled by the insurance companies right before fire season? No, that makes sense. They're like, we're not going to keep insuring your property. The contract's up. We're going to cancel it. Go find more insurance. Do I think that the government knew that and that the fires happened shortly thereafter? They knew a lot of insurance policies were not going to be renewed? Probably.
I just heard the other day that there was, in the 1950s to 60s, the New York Dodgers, the NFL baseball, they went from New York to LA, and when they built the LA Dodger Stadium,
Yeah.
they did the same thing with the locals. They bought out the land, but not for the best price,
Right.
not for the best interest of those people that live there.
Right. And if you see
This is bullying.
yeah.
Democrats are all about against bullying, right?
Right. In New Jersey right now, there's an ordinance that passed in New Jersey that a certain amount of depending on the population of the towns, a certain amount of the land needs to be for low-income housing. And there's a ranch or a farm that's there right now that's literally been in this family since before the Civil War. Like, they were like original settlers, and it's just passed down from generation to generation. And the government, the state of New Jersey came and said, we're gonna, we want to buy your land for like some horrible price. They're just like, what? That is not
Even for $1 billion.
even for $1
But
billion.
they don't want to sell.
You don't want to sell it. And
Right.
so the options are, you can sell it to us for this price, whatever, good or bad, or we're going to take it via eminent domain, which is the
Eminent
government
domain.
gets to take it for a legitimate government purpose, and they just have to compensate you fair price. But again, like you said,
Is it legal?
yeah, eminent domain is legal.
It's in the Constitution.
I don't think it's in the Constitution. It's a law.
How can they take your land?
That's like the thing about, so, my family is from South America, and they fled socialist
From Argentina.
From Argentina. And they
If
fled.
you get closer to the mic, please.
Okay, so my family is from Argentina, and so I'm very, well aware of government shenanigans, and really just socialism. And whenever I would go down to visit, they'd be complaining about this guy, and then they did this, and then they took money. And even when I was young, I will give myself this credit. I just remember thinking, because I always was raised, my grandma and my mom always told me, what we were just talking about a second ago, was like, it's us against them, and the them is like not who you see. It's a small elite group. So they actually told me when I was younger, fighting whatever things, like you're not even fighting against the right people. These people that you see are the people that they put there in the forefront for you to have enemies, to be targeted, to target your hatred to, or your vitriol towards. And they're like, that's like the first line of defense. So I always knew this in my head. So I did have that in the back of my head. And when I would go to Argentina, they would be complaining about the government because the government was horribly corrupt and horrible. And they didn't care. They flaunted it. They're all the things. And I remember saying, we do the exact same thing here in the United States. We just do it by proper channels in nice prolijo. Is like when you're all prolijo, is like you're all buttoned up with your little suit and tie, and you go with your briefcase to Congress and you do all these horrible things. It just looks a little bit nicer in the United States. I mean, it's always been that way. So and that's why all these bills are so dangerous, and they're so important that we fight them. Especially, I know we're kind of, I don't know how much longer we have, but I will say.
We have all them the more.
Oh, okay, good. So that's why these bad bills are so important to fight, because as a lawyer, my success and my efficacy it's directly proportional to the tools in my toolkit, to my arsenal, right? So if I have to, when I go to court next time, try and argue that this law that they acted under is illegal and then prove my case, it's just so much better that we just don't let bad illegal laws pass, because they're illegal. A lot of them are unconstitutional. A lot of them strip you of your First Amendment rights to exercise your religion, to speak freely, to direct the education, upbringing and care of your child. There's so many things that they're illegal. But first, then we need now a lawsuit to set aside this horrible law, and then all the lawsuits to make the people whole who were injured as a result of these illegal laws that should never have been passed to begin with. And I would say that, the pesticide bill is very, very, very bad. It's a federal bill. It's going to be horrible on the state level. And we should absolutely be paying attention. And we have killed bad federal bills. So we definitely need to do it, especially because you're doing it from your home instead of scrolling on social media endlessly and mindlessly for 2 hours. Can you just spend 6 minutes and call these people who I spent 3 hours, not 3 hours, spent an hour downloading all of their phone numbers and writing them and sending them in a Substack directly to your inbox? Can you just take 20 minutes to make a phone call? Because I just spent like 5 hours doing that.
20 minutes?
Yeah.
No one's going to listen to the people.
No, I'm saying in order to make all the phone calls,
Oh, okay.
all the phone calls to the 80 representatives takes 20, not even 20 minutes. It does not take 20 minutes, right? But let's just say, focus locally. Like, the reason why the mandates did not roll out across the country the way that they wanted it to roll out across the country is that we had all these strongholds across the country that just did not, they held out.
You mean the COVID era?
In the COVID era. So I can only really speak to my advocacy work starting COVID era, and that's what I saw. I just saw this county and this county and this region and these schools and these, X, Y, or even like in terms of, in the workforce, there were certain, I think it was like in the oil rigs, and they're like, yeah, you got to get vaccinated and wear a mask. And they're like, no freaking way. They're like, no. They literally all walked off the job site one day, and within 2 hours, like, okay, there's no more mandate. That's how it's supposed to,
How about
happen.
the doctors, nurses, teachers?
I know.
If they quit their jobs.
Right.
Nurses?
Right. It's that everybody's scared.
Nicole, I'm 37 years old.